It is more dangerous to drive at night than in daytime, because A. Wild animals are more active at night. B. Visibility is greatly reduced. C. Glare from the headlights of other vehicles. D. All of these. It is more dangerous to drive at night than in daytime, because D. All of these. Driving at night is more dangerous than driving during the day for a variety of reasons. At night, you simply cannot see as far ahead and around your vehicle than during the day. That means you'll have less time to see and respond to potential hazards as they arise. If your car breaks down, you should A. Get off the road as quickly by changing multiple lanes at once. B. Use your turn signals to carefully exit the road, pull as far off the road as possible, and turn on your hazard lights. C. Stop your vehicle where it is. D. Pull off to the left side of the road. If your car breaks down, you should B. Use your turn signals to carefully exit the road, pull as far off the road as possible, and turn on your hazard lights. Mechanical failures and car trouble can happen at any time. Be it a flat tire, electrical issues, or something wrong with the engine, having your car break down while driving can be a dangerous situation. It is important to know how to handle it as safely as possible. Regulatory signs are A. Orange. B. Yellow. C. White. D. Green. Regulatory signs are C. White. Regulatory signs are a category of road signs that indicate how traffic can move. These types of signs regulate things like what to do at an intersection, which directions of travel are allowed in certain lanes, speed limits, prohibited maneuvers, physical medians and divided highways. The majority of regulatory signs have a white background with black or black and red symbols and letters. These types of signs are typically rectangular in shape. Which of the following roadways freezes first when wet? A. Intersections. B. Freeways. C. Sunny areas. D. Bridges and overpasses. Which of the following roadways freezes first when wet? D. Bridges and overpasses. Due to their height, bridges and overpasses typically freeze before other areas of the road. Bridges and overpasses can often hide spots of ice that you may not expect. If there is moisture on the road or in the air and the temperatures are cold, you should expect to encounter ice on the road. Your driver license may be suspended for causing A. Another driver to honk. B. Traffic during rush hour. C. A minor accident. D. A serious car accident. Your driver license may be suspended for causing D. A serious car accident. If you are found at fault for causing a serious traffic accident, the DMV can suspend your driver's license. A serious accident typically is one that involves major injuries, death, major property damage. Fines for speed violations are doubled in which zones? A. Work. B. Business. C. Residential. D. Passing. Fines for speed violations are doubled in A. Work zones. Speeding ticket fines are typically doubled in work zones where workers are present and construction is happening on the road. Road work areas will be marked with orange and black signs. You may have to deal with detours, narrow lanes, reduced lanes, and reduced speed limits. What appears on a warning sign that tells you the road is slippery when wet? A. A puddle. B. Raindrops. C. A straight line and a zigzag line. D. A car with squiggly lines coming from it. What appears on a warning sign that tells you the road is slippery when wet? D. A car with squiggly lines coming from it. The slippery when wet road sign falls into the warning sign category. As such, the sign is a yellow diamond with black symbols. You can identify a road sign that tells you the road ahead is slippery when wet by a black passenger car with squiggly lines coming from behind it. What are the consequences if you fail to stop for a school bus with flashing red lights? A. There are no consequences. B. A warning from a police officer. C. Expensive fines and a suspended driver's license. D. A minor traffic ticket. What are the consequences if you fail to stop for a school bus with flashing red lights? C. Expensive fines and a suspended driver's license. Failing to stop for a school bus when it has its red lights flashing or stop sign extended is a serious traffic offense. At a minimum, you'll face an expensive fine. Additionally, your license can be suspended. When a school bus is pulled over on the side of the road with its lights flashing and the stop arm extended, it means that it is picking up or dropping off school children. Lanes marked with a diamond symbol are: A. Fast lanes. B. Turn lanes. C. Carpool lanes. D. Bike lanes. Lanes marked with a diamond symbol are: C. Carpool lanes. A diamond symbol on a lane of traffic indicates that the lane is a carpool lane only. These will typically be accompanied by HOV road signs as well. A carpool lane is often the leftmost lane on a multi-lane highway that is restricted for cars with multiple occupants. In most places, the minimum number of passengers, including the driver, that must be in the car to use a carpool lane is 2. Large trucks turning right onto a street with 2 lanes in each direction. A. Will take a sharp right turn. B. Always have the right of way. C. Will always stay completely in their lane. D. May swing left to begin the turn. Large trucks turning right onto a street with 2 lanes in each direction. D. May swing left to begin the turn. It is important to know how to drive when sharing the road with a large truck. One of the most important things to remember is how large trucks need to complete certain turns. Since the rear wheels of a vehicle follow a shorter path than the front wheels, the driver of the large truck needs to make adjustments in order to complete the turn and stay on the road. When a large truck needs to make a right turn, it will often need to swing wide to the left into the adjacent lane in order to complete it. True or false? You may pass on a two-way road that is marked with a broken yellow line. A. True. B. False. A. True. You may pass on a two-way road that is marked with a broken yellow line. Broken lines, either yellow or white, can typically be crossed over. Solid lines, either yellow or white, can typically not be crossed over. You can only use the opposite lane of traffic to pass other vehicles moving in the same direction when the broken yellow line is on your side of the lane. Are bicyclists required to obey traffic laws and signs? A. Bicyclists are not required to obey yield signs. B. No, bicyclists do not need to obey any traffic laws. C. Yes, bicyclists must obey traffic laws. D. No, bicycles must be ridden on the sidewalk. Are bicyclists required to obey traffic laws and signs? C. Yes, bicyclists must obey traffic laws. Bicyclists have the same rights and responsibilities to follow traffic laws and road signs as other motorists. While it is important for drivers to watch out for bicycles and give them plenty of space, bicyclists must also obey the rules of the road to reduce the chances of a collision. First, bicyclists need to be in control of their bike and ride in the proper position on the road, which may be a dedicated bike lane or a shared roadway. Next, bicyclists should wear the necessary safety gear and be sure to make themselves visible to other motorists. Finally, bicyclists should obey all traffic rules. The basic speed law says that A. You cannot drive faster than the posted speed limit. B. You cannot drive faster than what is safe for the current conditions. C. You cannot drive slower than the posted speed limit. D. You are able to drive faster than the posted speed limit when conditions allow. The basic speed law says that B. You cannot drive faster than what is safe for the current conditions. The posted speed limit is the maximum speed you can legally drive when conditions are good. This means no traffic, good weather, good road conditions, and a properly maintained vehicle. The basic speed law is designed to keep you safe and help you practice common sense. If conditions are poor, you need to drive at a slower speed to be able to respond to hazards, control your vehicle, and stop. A curb painted blue means parking is A. Reserved for short-term parking. B. Reserved for vehicles displaying a handicap plate or placard. C. Prohibited. D. Reserved for loading and unloading passengers. A curb painted blue means parking is B. Reserved for vehicles displaying a handicap plate or placard. The color painted on a curb or parking space indicates what type of parking or stopping is permitted. A blue painted curb or parking space indicates that parking is reserved for disabled persons that display a proper handicap placard on their vehicle. If you park in a space that is dedicated for handicap parking, you may receive a ticket or have your vehicle towed. When merging with freeway traffic, you should try to merge A. At 55 miles per hour. B. At a slower speed. C. At the same speed. D. At a faster speed. When merging with freeway traffic, you should try to merge C. At the same speed. When merging onto the freeway, you should use the acceleration lane to match the speed of the other vehicles on the freeway. As you turn onto the on-ramp, use the distance to gradually accelerate to current freeway speeds. Use your turn signal and look for a gap in traffic by watching the adjacent lane as you make your approach, checking your mirror, and checking your blind spot. When turning left, you must yield the right-of-way. A. If the traffic light is a solid green light, not a green arrow. B. When you arrive at an intersection at the same time as another vehicle going straight or turning right. C. To pedestrians crossing the street. D. All of these. When turning left, you must yield the right-of-way. D. All of these. There are many situations in which drivers waiting to make a left turn need to yield to other drivers. Some of the most common situations include when you and another vehicle arrive at a four-way stop at the same time and the other driver is either going straight or turning right. When you are at an intersection with a solid green light and are waiting to make an unprotected left turn. If you are riding in a vehicle equipped with a lap belt and also a separate shoulder belt, you are A. Not required to use either one. B. Able to use whichever one you prefer. C. Required to only use the lap belt. D. Required to use both. If you are riding in a vehicle equipped with a lap belt and also a separate shoulder belt, you are D. Required to use both. If you are in a vehicle that has a seat belt system with a separate lap belt and shoulder belt, you are required to use both of them at the same time. Only using the lap belt or shoulder belt alone provide you with less protection in the event of a collision. Seat belts are designed to greatly reduce your risk of serious injury or death if you are involved in a crash. What is the speed limit while driving in an alley? A. 10 miles per hour. B. 15 miles per hour. C. 20 miles per hour. D. 25 miles per hour. What is the speed limit while driving in an alley? B. 15 miles per hour. Unless otherwise posted, the speed limit in an alley is 15 miles per hour. Depending on the nature of the alley, the safest speed may actually be lower than 15 miles per hour. Alleyways or backstreets are often found in urban areas in order to direct traffic around and behind blocks of buildings. When sharing the road with a truck, it is important to remember that, in general, trucks A. Require a longer distance to stop. B. Have large blind spots around them. C. May swing wide to the left to complete a right turn. D. All of these. When sharing the road with a truck, it is important to remember that, in general, trucks, D. All of these. Large trucks are a type of vehicle that can pose some additional hazards, and all drivers should be aware of how to share the road with them safely. Some important things to know about large trucks include the following. Large trucks require more distance to stop, compared to a passenger vehicle driving at the same speed. Large trucks have bigger blind spots to the sides, in front, and behind them. When making a right turn at an intersection, large trucks may first need to swing wide to the left to complete the turn. When driving at night, you should A. Drive faster. B. Increase your following distance. C. Decrease your following distance. D. Always use your high beam headlights. When driving at night, you should B. Increase your following distance. Driving during the night comes with additional hazards and more danger when compared to driving during the daytime. One way you can keep yourself safer when driving at night is by increasing your following distance. Since visibility is reduced, increasing the distance between your car and the vehicle in front of you will give you enough time to react if the other car suddenly stops. Your blind spot is the area of the road. A. Directly in front of you. B. You can see in your rear view mirror. C. You can see in your side view mirror. D. You cannot see without turning your head. Your blind spot is the area of the road. D. You cannot see without turning your head. Blind spots are the areas around your vehicle that you cannot see without moving your head and looking over your shoulder. Even when properly adjusted, your rear view and side mirrors cannot show you everything to the sides and behind your vehicle. On passenger vehicles, the main blind spots exist to the left and right of the car. To check these blind spots, you'll need to glance over your left or right shoulder to confirm there are no cars, motorcycles, other vehicles, or bicyclists in them. A solid yellow line next to a broken yellow line means that vehicles A. On the side of the broken yellow line may pass. B. On the side of the solid yellow line may pass. C. May not pass on either side of the yellow lines. D. May pass on either side of the yellow lines. A solid yellow line next to a broken yellow line means that vehicles A. On the side of the broken yellow line may pass. Yellow lines on the road divide lanes of traffic moving in opposite directions and indicate when and where crossing over the line to pass is allowed. The center of an undivided roadway will often have a double yellow line. When one side is solid and the other side is broken, drivers on the side of the broken yellow line are allowed to cross into the opposite lane of traffic in order to pass other vehicles. A pennant-shaped sign means A. No passing zone. B. No parking zone. C. HOV lane. D. Lanes merge. A pennant-shaped sign means A. No passing zone. A pennant, or flag-shaped, sign is used to indicate a no passing zone. These signs are yellow with black lettering that reads, No passing zone. When you enter the area where the sign is posted, you must not overtake other vehicles. A driver waiting to make a left turn when the traffic light turns green should A. Keep their wheel straight, yield to oncoming traffic, and complete the turn when safe. B. Turn their wheels to the left, yield to oncoming traffic, and complete the turn when safe. C. Complete the turn when the light turns green. D. Not make the turn because left turns are not allowed on green lights. A driver waiting to make a left turn when the traffic light turns green should A. Keep their wheels straight, yield to oncoming traffic, and complete the turn when safe. Drivers who want to turn left on a green light need to yield to traffic going straight from the opposite direction. When the light turns green, drivers waiting to turn left can pull forward slightly, but should keep their wheels facing forward. The reason for keeping your wheels straight when waiting to turn left is to prevent you from rolling into oncoming traffic if you are hit from behind. When one vehicle is towing another by means of a chain, the chain must A. Have a 6 inches hook on each end. B. Be attached to the hitch. C. Be made of stainless steel. D. Display a 12 inches square white flag or cloth. When one vehicle is towing another by means of a chain, the chain must D. Display a 12 inches square white flag or cloth. When you tow another vehicle with a chain, rope, or cable, you need to display a white flag or cloth that is at least 12 square inches. If you tow a vehicle with a trailer hitch, except for fifth-wheel trailers, you will also need to use safety chains. Towing another vehicle adds some additional hazards when you drive. If you are towing a vehicle, you'll first need to make sure the connection is safe and legal. Great job! Here are some of your next steps to getting your learner's permit or driver's license. Read and study the official driver handbook from your state DMV. Take more free practice tests at puedomanejar.com. Gather all your necessary forms and documents before you visit the DMV office. Before you know it, you'll be driving in your very own car all by yourself. puedomanejar.com. Free DMV practice tests and much more to help you pass your real exams. Visit us today.